All right, so this is a little bit different. I have a question for you guys. I'm always trying to give advice on people on tips I've learned along the way and the way I do things, but you always can improve things. There's always a different way or a different method or a different way to look at something or to get it done. There's multiple ways to do it. But for me, right now, just to generalize, is for my water changes. So people have automated systems or drip systems where they have overflows, so the water goes to a certain level higher than that drain. I like to explain to people almost like a sink, and obviously anyone that can give me advice already knows this stuff, but just kind of generalize it. Picture if you have a faucet in a sink, there's usually a hole at the top of that sink. So if you were to get clogged or you were to stop it and you keep filling that sink, eventually go to that hole and it's gonna overflow or go out that hole and it's gonna drain so that the sink doesn't flood. Obviously, if the water coming in is faster than the size of the hole that can drain it, you will flood that sink or an aquarium. So similar concept. Let me show you what I'm doing right now, what I want to do. I don't know if it's going to work and what you guys think. And if you know someone that does this, I know Greg Sage, researched a lot of his stuff, but it's kind of hard to see some things. I probably could email him. I know he's really good with answering emails, questions, and he does this for a living, and he ships fish and he does things online. But I just want to kind of share with you guys and ask you guys what you think I should do, if it's worth doing it, if the cost is going to save me more time than the time I have to put in to build it and everything I have to buy and just to keep it running. But let me show you what I'm doing now and what I plan on doing. So what I'm currently doing on all my tanks, once a week, I unplug the pump just so I have more time to talk. It doesn't drain too fast. But I have this mag drive pump with the hose that comes all the way down. I plug the extension cord so I can walk around the room freely. It comes over here. I have some extra slack or feet to take it across the room. It's about 50 feet. It goes through this hole in the wall. It goes over to my floor drain. And then I have like a PVC elbow that goes over and down so it can't fall out of that hole. And it's also not connected to the water in the drain. So water is going to splash into there and fill up the floor drain and then obviously drain out. So I drain the water out of the tank. And you can see it's kind of gravity slowly going down right now. It's not forcing out with the pump. And then I'll go from tank to tank. I pick it up, kind of shake the water, move it to the next tank, drop it in. And I'll go through and I'll do that in all my aquariums roughly once a week. This time of the year, I'm not gonna lie, it's been a little bit busier, so I'm getting to maybe every 10 days. Some tanks I'll do every 2 weeks if there's a small number of fish in there. But like tanks like this where I have a lot of grow outs, like my rams, I do it every single week. What I would like to do without changing everything, because probably the next year or so I'll be moving and setting up a new fish room. But I plan on using some of these, most of these tanks. I'm not gonna go and buy new tanks for this move. There goes my timers, but what I'm planning on doing, making it somewhat clean, every tank I'm going to do a bulkhead. So 50% down, right here, so drill a hole, put a bulkhead, have a PVC elbow on the inside of the tank. I'm kind of using my hands because I'm talking through this. I want to have it go in the tank, have a little elbow, and then come up to the top. So they'll put a sponge over something over the top. So if I want to do a drip system, there'd be an overflow, come over there and drain. Or if I want to do a water change, I'm going to turn that pipe sideways, or I can even almost angle it down if it's a siphon, and it's going to bring water to the bulkhead and down the drain. So for one tank, I know for sure that will work. Let me move that pump and I'll keep talking. But my big question is, if I'm doing that on one tank, I know it'll work. I have an overflow and I have a bulkhead. I know if I turn it sideways, the water's going to go the easiest route. It's going to get forced down that hose, and I would kind of bring it to the side, to the white, and I would use little metal clamps that would clamp the hose, take it all the way down to the floor to about here, and then would elbow off along the base. And then I would take it all the way around the room, maybe under these aquariums or along the front, behind these tanks to the corner, over here, and then through that wall, and it's going to go the same floor drain that is. So for one tank, I know it's going to work. With all these tanks, I know that's going to take forever for all these tanks to go to one hose. That I don't know how many tanks is too many tanks for that type of system and what size hose. I'm planning on doing like a 1/2 inch bulkhead, come off to maybe a 1-inch hose or a 3/4 inch hose, and then maybe for each row of tanks. And I hope you guys can kind of follow this. I know I'm kind of talking without giving examples, but I really am kind of confused about it too, because I'm trying to think it through in the big picture of the whole room. So one tank I know that's going to work. Bulkhead, turn it sideways. Like I'm going to manually go in, turn that sideways when I want to do a water change. The water is going to drain down, and then when I'm done, I turn it up and I can fill the tank the way I'm doing now. So that eliminates me taking the pump tank to tank, and I can turn them all down. It'll take me maybe 2 minutes to go through the whole room, maybe 5 minutes, doing all the tanks, and then they're going to slowly drain, and I can turn them up and fill the tank, so I can walk away for an hour or two. Even if it takes 2 hours to drain, I'm okay with that because I'm not going to have to be here watching it. But my question is, say, let's just talk about the first row. Let's talk about these 4 tanks. So say I wanted to do this 4x4 rack, 16 20-gallon tanks. I want to drain all of them with this type of system I'm talking about. Say I do a bulkhead here, and then over here I have a bulkhead right there, next tank over right there, so I can use this one 2x4 to come down so I'm not in the middle of the rack, and then put another one right here. So I'm just talking about the top 4 tanks. Can I have them all drain down here and keep going to say like a spot here, and then repeat that? So can I do bulkhead on the same spot as the tank above it, and then kind of tee these all off? So that's my real question. Most people have it, like I could even do this. Say they all come and they come to a PVC that goes across the whole front right there on the bottom. So they're all gonna be draining down about 6 inches, collecting there, and then that's gonna have one exit, and that PVC may go out down here. But then what if it comes across and does that again? Can I connect these top tanks with a bulkhead in there? I would think yes, but I'm really like, at the same time I'm thinking obviously no. The reason I'm saying no, and you guys, I hope that someone out there can answer this question. When I turn this bulkhead, the water's coming through, coming down, and then it's coming to here, so it's gonna be below this tank, and it's gonna come over, and it's gonna keep going down. But with this next tank with the bulkhead here, and it's gonna be going sideways, so it would be turned up, turn it sideways, so the water level is right there, comes over to the bulkhead, comes down to the PVC. Will this water from this tank come down over here, eventually get backed up down there, and then push up through that bulkhead into this tank and flood that tank, or cross-contaminate water? That's my biggest question. When I was thinking about it yesterday, I was saying absolutely, but now that I'm in the fish room looking at it, I don't know that it will. But that's kind of my question for you guys. Can I do that? Because if I could do it, I think I can make this look very clean. I don't have to do, I would obviously have to drill the tanks, but I don't have to do those non-drill overflows, which I think are cool, but it's too much PVC for me. I think it looks kind of sloppy. But I could do like a bulkhead there, 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 and there, and they all could drain to a hose on that one cable. And then maybe eventually at the bottom of each rack there'd be a PVC that goes along the whole thing, and there'd be one spot where it goes down. I hope that makes sense. But if I did that, they would have overflow. So say I'm filling a tank and the PVC is upright, it's no longer sideways, and I'm filling the tank, it goes a little bit too high, it's eventually going to level out through that bulkhead. Or if I wanted to later on add a drip system, I can drip water in those tanks, keep the bulkhead up, and that's going to do a water change. And whenever I want to do a big water change, turn it sideways, let it drain, turn it up, fill the tank up. So that's what I really would love to do. And I think if I took my time, I can make it look somewhat clean on the front of all these tanks and kind of hide to the sides and then wrap around. I like the way this rack looks, but obviously I want it to be functional and I want it to work well. And I think that'd be really cool to do. And I can kind of do like show you how to build it. But I don't know if that top tank, when it's draining down, if that hose connects to this somewhere, is that hose going to get backfilled from that water in the top tank to this tank? And even more so, say the bottom tank. Even if that second row is good, the third row is good, with a fourth row, having water come from up here, down, 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 be able to split off, go down, be able to split off, go down, excuse me, split off here, eventually going to the floor drain. Will that tank, having water come down, will it want to come up the hose and backfill and push into that aquarium? I want to say it will, but I'm not sure because that water is still leaving that tank as well. So I don't know if I need to have check valves or if it's just not possible, or if the has to be maybe the top 3 rows I could do. And I know I've heard it has to be at least 12 inches off the ground, but water wants to go to the easiest route. So I don't know if it's going to be that tank below it or if it's going to be the floor drain, because the floor drain is lower than everything. Even the bottom of the bottom tanks, the floor drain is going to be lower and it keeps going down. And I'm only going to be going halfway into this tank, so it's probably about 10 inches off the ground. Let me think. So the 2x4 is 3 inches, 4 inches with the wood because there's a piece underneath it, so it's 4 inches. The tank's probably 10 inches tall, maybe 12 inches tall. Half that, would call it 6 inches, so maybe 10 inches total. It's 10 inches off the ground, and the floor drain is going to have maybe 5 inches of air, so maybe another 2 to 5 inches of the pipes going down, forcing it down. So it gives me about a foot, but I just don't know that question. So I'm always giving advice. I know it's kind of hard to follow, and most people aren't going to really want to watch that, but I'm asking for help. If you guys know how to do that, if you know if it will work, I'm willing to demo it on maybe like 4 tanks. So maybe these 4 tanks, I try it on. Worst case scenario, I keep those bulkheads straight up, I cap them, I just use these tanks as normal, and later on I could do something more efficient with them. But I really kind of want to try that and then eventually do a drip system, because then I don't want to drip water every day. Let me turn this around and talk. I think drip systems are awesome. I think it keeps your water pristine. It keeps a lot more hands off, so you're able to clean filters, you're able to move fish, you're able to watch your fish more and enjoy them, and there's a lot more things you can do to help your fish than sit there and drain the water and fill it. That takes a lot of time, especially when you have a lot of tanks. But I like the concept of having a water change that's an actual drain the tank, fill the tank up with fresh water. You're not wasting water. Everything going out is waste. Everything coming in is brand new water. You're not kind of diluting the water. And also, I know whenever I sell fish, most people are not going to have that system. I don't even have that system. So I don't want my fish to be too weak. I don't want them to live in pristine water always, and then maybe as soon as I sell them, they crash in someone else's tank because they get exposed to nitrates and different types of water, and they're not used to it, and they don't have an immune system for those things. So it's really, I've been battling that debate, and obviously what I'm doing now is what I'm doing, so I probably favor that, but it's a lot more work. So if I could do a drip system maybe twice a week or so, or maybe whenever I skip a water change on the weekend, a manual one, I can do a drip system for maybe 3 days in a row at 10% or 15% and give them that big water change. Then the rest of the week, maybe like, I don't know, like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, drip them and give them like a water change and stop till the next Monday, or maybe, to next Saturday. And then the next weekend on like Sunday, I'll do a 50% water change and not do a drip. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, and that's kind of my reasoning behind it. But let me know what you think, if you're experienced with this, or if you understand more almost plumbing and like water, I guess. I mean, I understand it, but to do one tank to a sump, it's easy. But if you're gonna do one tank to another tank and not cross-contaminate water and eventually go somewhere else, I don't know the easiest way to do that without actually testing it, seeing what happens, then fixing a problem if a problem arises. And it's a really big move to go drill 40-some tanks, buy 40 bulkheads, buy 100 foot of hose, buy all the fittings and the clamps and maybe PVC, glue PVC, and then it not work. And then it's just a waste of time and it's bad for your fish. But let me know what you guys think on that. If you have any advice, comment below. You can even email me directly if you go down the comments or in the description and look up my email. But that's kind of how I'm going to end the video. I'm always trying to help you guys out. I'm trying to share tips on breeding. I talk about rams. I talk about different ways to do things, foods to feed, water changes, but sometimes, all the time, anything can be improved. Now I'm trying to improve this fish room. It's getting close to Christmas time, so I'm kind of shopping around for other people and myself, and that'd be like something I want. Like, what do I want this year? I'm just thinking of things. I'm like, I want to do something in the fish room because that's this is my hobby, it's things I enjoy, and it's also my work. So if I can make that easier for the rest of the year and forever, and also get a cool gift for myself and kind of have something to work on. I was thinking about buying bulkheads and trying to do this process, but I don't know if it's gonna work. So let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm gonna end the video here. Thanks for watching, guys. Go down there, subscribe, hit the like button. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys soon.